Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 4 of our new podcast series, Making Money Squared, where we explore how AI can help businesses make more money and save more time. Saving more time makes you more money, so making money squared. So, let's introduce our guests, Ben and Jordan. Welcome.
We're back. Episode number
Welcome, everyone.
Episode number 4. My name is Ben Twist from Convert Leads, and I'm very excited for today's conversation to get started. Jordan, jump in and then let's get straight into it.
Guys, nice to be here again. Jordan from Seamless AI here to talk about another pretty common topic for us. A pretty big industry that is booming right now. So I'm keen to jump into it today.
Right, and Krystian from Cognitech Solutions here, and let's just dive right into it. The topic of today's video is we're gonna dive deep into one specific business model, and we're gonna see how exactly we can add the most AI we can onto that to multiply its profit by hopefully 3,247%. So today we're gonna be covering e-commerce, especially how can we automate different processes in a e-commerce store so that it saves more time and makes more money. All right. So, guys, first of all, right, when we're talking about e-commerce and AI, for you guys, what directly comes to mind?
A lot of the time it comes down to ads, right? So whether the user's scrolling on TikTok, whether the user's scrolling on Facebook, whatever platform they're on, normally comes down to some sort of ad-based form. So one needs to be implemented in the right area where the customer will see it. And you got to think too, a lot of their customer base is online based. Like these e-commerce stores don't get walk-ins. They don't get your in-person based clients, so the whole different demographic you got to think about.
Yeah, when I think of e-com, I think of a lot of things AI can do, but to make this very easy to follow and understand, let's start at the beginning. What do e-com stores need to be able to sell products? They need traffic, they need eyeballs, they need attention. How do e-com stores get that attention? What's from running ads? So the first thing that comes to my mind is creating ads is a laborious task. How can we optimize it to save the most amount of time? Why don't we start there, Krystian?
Right. What I also want to mention, right, when we're talking about e-commerce is a very specific field in that, as Jordan mentioned, right, you don't have walk-ins, but everything you do is, at least in your promotion, your sales, and your marketing, is online. What that means, right, is you don't need a physical person to do physical tasks, such as putting out a billboard on, or making the facade of your store pretty, or wiping the floor. You don't have all of those physical tasks, and most of the tasks that actually matter, AI can do. So, first of all, ads, right? The big elephant in the room. Because this is where, as we mentioned, right, those brands get their eyeballs from. So, have you guys seen any softwares that can, or do you guys think, first of all, is it possible to create ads that convert well using AI? And second, do you know any softwares that do that?
So for me, what comes to mind, I suppose to touch on it a little bit, it's like your curated suggestions, right? So with those ads, they already know, say if it's an online fashion e-commerce store, they already know what outfits you might like. If you're constantly looking at suits, t-shirts, obviously it'll promote similar stores to your page. So it already does the picking out for you. Like when you go into an actual in-person retailer, there actually has to be a human coming up to you. Hey, what are you looking for today? The AI does it all for you in regards to, recommending you certain outfits, recommending you certain styles. So it's almost showcasing that first step. That's normally the hardest part to, sell on when you're an actual in-person seller.
yeah, when I think about ads, and as you mentioned, really good point, Krystian. You don't, with an e-com store, you don't have the liabilities or problems that a physical location has. So things can be done arguably better because it's online. In terms of creating ads, I know AI can create images, so creating the ad creatives, and it can also write sales copy. Now, to someone who writes copy, personally, AI written copy isn't at the level yet that an experienced and professional copywriter can write. However, it can pump out a very good, close enough point, and a whole bunch of it. So instead of, creating X amount of images and X amount of bits of copy for the ads, you can, manually, it can all be done automatically, and then a professional can come in, cherry pick the best images that aligns with the brand, and go in and adjust and make tweaks to the copy so that it actually converts at the highest percentage into eyeball.
What I want to mention, it bounce off what you just said, which is really interesting, right? Is the fact that the AI, right? It can pump out ideas and a lot of it at the same time, right? What that means, especially for ads, it's super good for A/B testing, because you can publish 10 different ads, right? One that is better, right? Performs better. You can then ask AI to generate more of it like that. Get 10 order, pick the best one again and again and again.
Exactly. And you're also working with analytics too. You got to think, when an actual physical store, you don't necessarily know what clothes are, apart from them actually buying the product. You don't know analytics, like what products get viewed the most from these ads, what products actually work. Like if a person walks in there, oh no, I'm fine, thanks, looks at 2 or 3 items, there's no way that retailer would know what clothes actually are eye-catching and what actually are, driving traffic to their retailer. So that's another thing you got to think about as well.
And to jump on that, another aspect of how AI can help in this beginning stage of getting eyeballs is it can give you ideas for campaigns, but also you can feed it winning stores, winning products, winning campaigns, and it can look at a large volume or a library of campaigns and ads and images and stores that are extremely successful and profitable. What does that allow you to do? Well, you can build around that and replicate and change and adjust and iterate to get the same quality but aligned with your brand and your store.
That actually, one story I remember I saw somewhere on the internet, I'm not sure of the truthfulness of this, but I remember, maybe you guys heard of it too, that when, I think that was about a year ago, when ChatGPT was still in its infancy, I would say, one person decided to just ask ChatGPT, okay, how do I make a clothing line that actually sells and makes money? And asked it to detail it in very specific steps. He's done the steps and actually made money.
Sorry to jump in there, Krystian. When you're asking AI, how do I build a profitable store? What you can do is you can include very profitable stores. What's her name? The Kardashian e-com store. The big, Victoria's Secret stores. There's a Culture Kings in Australia. The big shoe stores, and you can say, what makes these stores exceptionally good? What points and what sections of this entire campaign, store, image, brand makes it work so well? And AI can pull out those details, which you can then use in crafting your own, which I think is really, really interesting.
And even before you get to that stage of marketing, campaigning, even for the e-com store, if you go back to the base roots, the amount of capital you need to start up an e-com store compared to an actual retailer alone, even if you look at early days like that, it just goes to show that, the opportunities for an e-com compared to setting up your own retailer are so vastly different. So, even looking at the roots of things, it's so much more simplified than saving up to buy your own retail store, for example,
Right. What I want to come back to, right, is our original, I guess, question, right? But also I want to add, because we were on the subject of ads, but we mentioned something really important here, which Ben mentioned, was that you could take other stores, right, and ask, okay, what can be improved on my store then? That, in a way, is a business analyst or business mentor that you have using AI. So that's also something you should not ignore for sure. So, what I want to ask you guys is, have you seen softwares that actually make AI run ads, or not yet?
I'm green to that environment. However, I'm sure there are softwares, well, I'm certain of it, that if it's not available today, it's going to be available tomorrow or next week, right? Because that's the speed of what we're moving with AI right now. Have you seen anything, Jordan?
So, from my understanding, right, there's tools like Shopify Plus, if you guys have heard of that one before. So obviously that offers, product recommendations, predictive analysis for, say, like your inventory management and stuff. But yeah, it's one of those markets where really most of those do the tools that require, like stuff like Shopify Plus, which is the one I'm most commonly versed with. Yeah, that they're sort of like your entry level, chatbot automation and whatnot. It sort of gets you over the mark to that way you can say, look, I've implemented it, but that's where you can come in as an automation agency and be like, here's what you've got, here's how I can make it better. Here's what you got, here's what your, the areas that area is lacking in, so.
Gotcha. What I want to mention is I've seen one, and it has been around for a while. I've seen one software that I know creates ad creatives using AI, writes the copy for it, and even analyzes it through the data, right, and makes decision off of that to A/B test. The software is called adcreative.ai. Haven't been able to use it myself, haven't had the opportunity to, but have seen it loads or on ads on YouTube and stuff like that. So I would say, for the viewers watching this, if you're considering actually automating your ads, this is a place to look for.
Out of curiosity, do you know how much that software costs?
Here, I'm not really sure. I couldn't give you an answer because I haven't been able to experiment with it myself.
Let's just say it's $100 a month. I don't know, but let's just say that it's $100 a month. Okay. Let's compare that, because what's the point of this video? We want to make the e-commerce store as profitable and save as much time as we can, right? Scenario number one, you have a marketing agency, a marketing person, a copywriter, maybe a VA doing the creatives for you at $5 an hour. That's still an expense. That's still continuous expense. You're immediately saving on the dollar amount when you're using AI software. But not only is the dollar amount, it's the volume. It's what we spoke about last episode, turning up the dials, because it's not, shit, I'm going to need to hire another VA. I'm going to need to double down on the amount of ad creatives. It's, we want to launch 3 campaigns next month. Let's just turn up the dial, and the AI can handle it.
And yeah, touch on what.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was going to say, touching on what you said, cost rise. I believe going back to, say, Shopify Plus, you're looking at anywhere between $2,300 to $2,500 a month. So that's sort of like the standard startup cost you'd be looking at if you had your own e-com store. So pricing obviously can vary from that, but that's sort of a rough ballpark you'd be looking at. and that handles everything from say like your product recommendations to your predictive analysis and stuff like that. So
So it's more of an all-in-one for
basically,
e-commerce.
hmm.
See, Shopify is a e-com platform, a marketplace, so it makes sense. Yeah.
So obviously you got to think about that too. That is technically, like a great entry level, I suppose, but can be improved. It's great for someone who has no knowledge in the space.
Right. What I also wanted to mention about ads is I've seen, I think a week or two ago, not sure if it's fake news or not, but I follow a couple like AI pages on Instagram, and one of them published a video of a Coca-Cola ad that clearly is using AI for their footage. As in, it's a 20-30 seconds video with trucks of Coca-Cola going around town in a Christmassy vibe with snow everywhere and everybody like being happy. 20-30 seconds of that fully done by AI. So that shows, well, even if that is not an actual ad that has been running by Coca-Cola, it still proves that you can do it. The technology is here. You just need to A/B test it till it works, till it converts.
A/B test until it works. We're all big on numbers and data, and that's really the name of the game when it comes to using AI to solve anything. It's a continuous improvement. I was saying this to someone I was speaking to a few hours ago. It's not just to start and plug it in. It's a continuous optimization. Get the data back, improve. Get more data, improve. So that it gets as close as possible to giving you the best possible outcome, regardless of what that action is.
And you can test it harder than you can with a physical employee, right? Like what employee can you swear at and make fun of and get away with, But you have to go through these tests. You have to A/B test it to a point where it is that good that nothing breaks it. And you have to use that in a way where, you have to really try and be like a bully to it. Most people might ask it generic questions, like frequently asked questions, which is a piece of cake. You've got to test it to a point where it's nearly unbreakable.
So we've covered the attention attraction section. What happens next? Well, the attention goes to a website. Now, there is a few different softwares that can build the website automatically, a complete e-commerce website with AI, and I think, 12, 24 months ago, building a website an e-commerce website was a very time-consuming task, right? Because it's not just, there's a booking page and a contact us and an about us and services. It's not a service-based business. It's not a 5-page website with a lead form. It's look at the big stores, the big stores with thousands of products, tens of thousands of products on it. They all got to have a page. They all got to have images. They've all got to have copy. They've all got to have buttons that work. That's a huge ROI in terms of using AI to save time.
What I want to touch on, right, before we go to the website, there's one thing I guess we skipped, which is, and loads of e-commerce brands are using this either for retargeting, getting attention, or building an actual brand, and that is social media. Do you guys think it is possible to automate A to Z a social media profile using AI for an e-commerce store?
We'll definitely get into that point where it's, you would say yes more than no. Looking at a different business model, like say your OnlyFans management, they're getting to the point where they're completely AI. They have AI fully automated AI models of fictional girls who are objectively beautiful making thousands and thousands per month. So if they can get there with that business model, why can't you with an e-commerce store? You know, so the technology is there. We're getting to the point where you can say yes more than no to that idea. Yeah, it would require a lot of time to get it to that point. It depends on whether you want to look at it, say, for a social media presence, having an actual ad running to give you a visual diagram of what the customer journey looks like when you're going through into the e-commerce store, having a visual guide, if you would say.
Well, let's break it down. I agree. We're at a stage where it's more likely to be a yes than a no, because we can create images and posts with AI pretty efficiently once you've got the prompting down pat. You can create descriptions and hashtags in seconds with AI. Okay. You can schedule the posts with AI. Okay. You can use AI to come up with ideas for posts. I know I do that for LinkedIn. I don't have an e-commerce store, but I use AI to generate more and trending ideas and posts that are going to work better in the algorithm. You can use AI to do that. So even if it's not a 100% no-touch automated process. Oh, and the other thing, Krystian, what about the email list? You can automate the email list. That's part of the social media. That's part of the nurturing.
Yes, 100%. So, in terms of email lists, you can absolutely automate that since we're dealing with text. GPT is really good with text. Actually, I would say, because there's lots of LLMs out there, and GPT isn't the best at everything. Myself, from testing on actual clients, on actual email campaigns, Claude AI works better for me for copywriting. And there are different LLMs which are better for different things. So that's what you need to keep in mind. But I want to also touch on that it's not only email lists. It can be Telegram channels, it can be Instagram channels, it can be WhatsApp channels, it can be any kind of channel or somewhere where you send messages to people through text. And all of it can be automated with AI.
Yeah, everything from your email campaigns to your follow-ups. Like, you got to think that's a huge part of the e-com business that most people don't even realize. How was your experience on the e-com store, and how was the product? Regardless of the store itself, they're investing in a product because they're a service base. So having those follow-ups there, or having those automations in place where you're actually keeping those customers that you've sold to satisfied, which would help their retention.
Well, automating the reviews, automating the review responses, because that's also important. You don't just want to have a review, an empty review. It needs to be responded to timely. That helps with page authority, if it's Google or Facebook, right? What if it's a trust pilot, or what if it's a review built in on the website? Would you rather have someone's responsibility to send the review, ask the message, follow up with the lead until they leave the review, or would you want to automate it?
On the topic of response to clients, then the most important, I guess, would be customer service. Because, of course, we're dealing with e-commerce here. So on the internet, trust on the actual website you're buying from needs to be established, right? Since not everybody is going to just go on social media, click on an ad, and directly buy without thinking, maybe this is not. Maybe something's gonna happen. Maybe just they don't deliver. Maybe I'm gonna get billed. Get billed twice. Something is gonna happen, right? So having that customer service there is very important. And how you can automate customer service, I would say in two ways, really. It's having a chatbot directly on the site where you can just ask anything you want. And you can ask anything you want because it's AI, which handles the responses part. It's not a bot where you ask a question, it just comes up with a FAQ answer. Or directly set up a email responder on your email inbox that when someone sends you an email, saying, for example, hey, this order, where is my order exactly? This is my order number. The AI can just get that email, check it directly, respond to the email.
Well, you're absolutely right. The improvement is in the data, and an e-commerce store that wants to be profitable needs to know what their customers are saying. They need to know, did the product come on time? Was the product exactly what it was described as? Would you refer someone to it? Just to touch on what you said, an email autoresponder. You could have an email sequence go out to let the customer know, hey, your order's shipped, it's going to be there in 5 days. Hey, your order's in transit, it'll be there in 2 days. Hey, we just dropped off your order. The customer goes to look, there's no package. What can they do? They can reply to the email, hey, didn't get my package. Then you can set up an AI system to handle those customer service inquiries.
And you got to think too, AI is great with dealing, because you're dealing with people's data, you're dealing with people's privacy, you've got their addresses, their numbers. AI is great with putting it into a database where it's actually secure. I was having this talk with someone today, talking, I suppose, on the length of integrations, but it's great with storing, private information, which is normally a big concern with most, e-commerce stores. Okay, well, where's my data being stored? Where's it being, used? So AI is a great tool for, converting that into a safe database, which builds trust. Just like Krystian said before, builds the trust.
100%. Apart from that, so we've covered ads, social media, email lists, website, customer service. What do you guys reckon? Anything else we can automate?
I wanted to add on to the website because I was speaking to a colleague of mine probably 3 weeks ago who does e-commerce, and he was asking, hey, I'm building my website, but I need images. I need images to show off the clothing brand because it's a clothing brand. And we worked out that you could use AI to generate pretty good looking human images to showcase all of the collection of the clothing. It was a winter brand that was being sold, and instead of having one model with one jumper and then the next one with this, and hiring a photo shoot and renting out a space and renting out models and editing photos, you can create a handful of AI avatars, and then you can put all of the pieces of clothing on each of those avatars. So, you start with 5 avatars and you have 20 products. That's 100 different images because each avatar has 20 different items on it in 20 different photos. That can be automated, which is a huge time saver, because just to touch on the trust point, how important is it for a store to look appealing? People must want to actually buy the product. They want to see themselves in it. They want to see themselves using it, right? Making that happen through imagery is critical, absolutely critical. Website, social media, ads, all of it combined.
And it all comes down to wait times too. You got to think, like we touched on the last podcast, how quick, if the customer really was after a specific item, how quick can they get to that item, get to the purchase screen, get to the checkout, put in the information and go, compared to browsing into somewhere, buying something, waiting in the line. Time is huge, which would increase their conversion rate by 400, 500%. Having a secure checkout, a quick checkout, and the systems get them there, implemented, recommended, so that way it's not, they're not spending any more seconds than they need to finding what they want, what product they want.
Money loves speed, and there needs to be a way for the customer to purchase the product in every single possible way. So there's no friction. We touched on this last episode.
Yep.
Frictionless sale. You don't want to have a slow loading website because in that half second that it takes to open the cart, someone's attention goes. You don't want to have a checkout where there's 7 different things I have to fill out. What's your dog's name, and what type of products do you like? It's just like, no, Get the information, get the deal closed, get the money in, and get the customer their product. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS.
100%. Exactly right. And obviously, I suppose to wrap up the website topic, you got to think with e-commerce, you've got so many other brands and stores competing for that attention. So if you can direct the customer to what they're after using AI tools, such as what they've previously been looking at, depending on how much information that customer's giving out, even to the point of, seasonal information too, like you said, with winter stores, obviously that will be very appealing in say your winter times, but you got to have ranges for all seasons. So making sure it's, pushed to the right people.
So we cover the website, social media, ads, emails, follow-ups, customer service. Do you guys reckon there's something else we can automate, or is it like that already is, I would say, pretty much the entire business model?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, this is probably more for the actual e-com business owner, but touching on the data privacy and databases, having those systems there for him to see what actually performs well and what not performs well, because you wouldn't want to have every option in the store. You'd obviously only want to push the ones that are performing well. So giving him, like what's worked well for me, right, is giving a weekly breakdown of what's performing well and what's not. So using AI to give the actual e-com business owner systems to where, look, these items are getting the most eyes. These ones people are actually going to from the first chat, like having information like that to give the business owner actually informed, up-to-date, accurate information on a weekly basis that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. So that would be, in a sense, a business analyst, right? Like
like an outside consultant.
Exactly.
Consulting on the business.
Exactly.
There's something that I want to add is lead conversion. Now, a big thing with e-commerce is abandoned carts. Both myself and Krystian can both speak on solutions on the making more money side. What is that? It's the abandoned cart system after the cart is abandoned. What do I mean? Well, most e-commerce stores have a two-step order process. First is contact details and address. Second is the payment details, or contact details and then payment and then address, right? If they get people's attention spans end like that, they're exposed to thousands of different ads and things happening all the time. If they get, and also people just like the internet shop and just browse and load up their cart with things and not buy, right? Save it for later. How important is it, and how many opportunities are missed by not having immediate follow-up abandoned cart systems in place? Because that's a decent percentage of opportunities, right?
Because it could be due to a multitude of reasons. It's just like how what works for, say, your business model. It's basically in a way, abandoned carts are dead leads. Whether it's due to unexpected fees you've got, whether it's shipping costs, whether it's a complicated checkout process, you need to have those AI systems there to scrape up those dead leads and turn them into actual conversions.
Or even like, for example, on the example of dead leads, it may not even be a problem of something on the website. It may be a problem with them. Like, for example, I'm browsing somewhere and someone calls me to do something outside, and then I'm gone, my PC is off, I turn off the website. Or, we've touched on this before. I'm doing something on a website, I want to order something, I go to sleep, I wake up, my dog is dead, I need to bury him somehow, Like, stuff happens. So, getting that lead, right, is still someone who is interested, but something did not go as planned along the way. So
exactly, somewhere in the chain, the link broke. External, internal influence, whatever it is, and one-way email and one-way SMS sequences have been around for a little while, right? But pairing it with AI to respond and influence and answer questions about the product to then lead the prospect back into buying, that's really where the money is. I know for systems like what I build, for an abandoned cart, it's you've abandoned a cart, you'll get reached out to via SMS, like just checking in. Maybe it's giving them an offer. Maybe it's, hey, here's 10% off, use this code. And it doesn't stop there. If the prospect asks the question to the email, to the SMS, it can now get answered. And it can now lead it back to the sale.
And you're also improving their customer experience too. It's just like using AI with, say, a restaurant, for example. You go there, you order a tiramisu. Hi, Jason. Glad to serve your tiramisu needs. Making a personalized icebreaker to actually hear, the client experience. So say if it's like a jacket on an e-commerce store, hi Jason. See, you didn't end up picking that jacket. It's getting cold soon. Something as simple as that just can be like, oh wow, it actually knew it was coming into. You know what I mean? Like you're money wise, it's great. You're increasing conversions, but you're also improving customer experience as well.
Yep. What I want to touch on also, right, is email, SMS is not the only way to do it. You can even, what I experiment with, I haven't been able to place it and have results just yet, but I've seen it done. A phone line that instead of being, let's say, a receptionist, so an inbound, when you call it, it responds, somewhat a system that calls leads that abandon the cart, directly talking to them, hey, I seen you've picked up the jacket, I hope it's not getting too cold for you. Because I seen you were interested in that jacket, I'll be, forward with you. I want to give you a 10% off on that jacket if you're down to go with it right now.
Yeah. Do you know what works really well is it's the mixture of the personalization and the offer. It's, hey Jordan, I noticed you didn't pick up that jacket yet. I just wanted to reach out and let you know that you can use a 10% off discount with the link below. P.S. Reply, go away if you don't like 10%. Something silly. It's an offer, but it's personalized and it's non-confrontational. It's like, hey, it's reminding the lead, hey, this is still here. We're still here. If you have questions or objections, great, ask them. But if not, it gives them another opportunity to go and open the Google again and then type in the store and then add it to the cart. It's like, hey, here's a link. Easy. Click it, apply the code, take the discount off, buy the product.
Exactly right. And I suppose touching on, softwares that different e-commerce stores can use. Obviously, e-commerce, you can use softwares like, your Tidio, for example, which does pretty much, it prevents abandonment, which is basically what that's used for. A lot of businesses tend to use that nowadays. Also, the only one I can really think of is AdRoll as well. But I'm sure, e-com store or e-com business owners doing their research, they can start by using softwares like that and then tailor it using the power of AI, with what their customer base is.
Right. That's a really interesting point you covered right here. If you guys were in the position right now that you need to start an e-commerce store today with AI, what kind of tools would you use to make that a reality?
Super good point. The first thing I would do is I would find an e-com store building GPT on ChatGPT, because what that's going to do is it's going to tell me what I need to do. It's going to be that little business coach on my shoulder, because essentially what's already been created is that it has the information about winning stores. It knows what you need. And then all you need to say is, I am building an e-commerce store on X product. How would you propose that I get this done in the fastest time possible. And then it's going to come back to you and say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you thought about this? Once you've done this, go back and review this, do it this way. And it's going to give you that step-by-step dot point process until you completed it systematically, and you can go back and say, hey, I don't want to build my website manually. Recommend me AI software that will build my website for me. Boom. There's the AI solution.
Yep. It's the harsh feedback you need. You need to send a photo of your store. What areas am I missing here? And it'll recommend you suggestions, while the store's being built, how AI automators do their outreach and their client outreach is very similar to an e-com store as well in that regard, outside of the marketing aspect. So I would then tailor my outreach systems to suit an e-commerce store as well. So obviously get that going in the background while the store's being built, while you're organizing your products, while you're implementing your softwares like Tidio and AdRoll, just making it, A/B testing it, working on it 24/7 until it gets to the point where that AI is unbreakable. There's that's sort of like the starting the processes of getting that built.
Yeah. How long do you think, out of curiosity, both of you, I'd like to get your thoughts. How long do you think from I need to start an e-com store to functional store? How long do you reckon that timeline is? And how much of it you think is because of using AI? Like how much faster can you get it because of AI, right?
Right. I would say, right? Especially nowadays, it's pretty easy to start an e-commerce store, right? With AI or without. Because you've already got a bunch of templates. For example, on Shopify, you can just mismatch something, get a site going in a week, start making videos. And you can start making sales, let's say 2-3 weeks in. Now, the problem with that, and I would say with AI, on the other hand, can definitely get it way more quickly. And for example, the website, the product choice, you can definitely do it in a day. From a week to a day, right? Then, to start making the actual content on social media, to start running ads, to make the ads, right? I would say that would take you not even a week. Because if you use AI correctly, which we've covered right here, is using like a business analysis, which already knows what it's doing, it just tells you already what you need to do anyway. So you don't need to sit through 10 hours, 20 hours of tutorials somewhere on YouTube to find out what to do exactly. You need to buy a course.
Yeah. Let me just add to that question. How important is sequencing? What do I mean by that? If the highest ROI, arguably, section is the advertising, right? You'd want to be split testing as soon as possible, and this is where that business analyst will come in. So, hey, what do you want to sell? What is your brand? Okay, that's sorted. Let's get the ads up and running now while we do everything else. So by the time everything's done, payment processor, website, social media, content, whatever, we now have an ad strategy. Boom. Speed.
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean, like you got to think with a lot of these AI integrations, I suppose to add on what Krystian said, you could probably get it fully operational, I'd say within a week and a half. Everything from, like the design of the store, gone are the days of going on YouTube, how do I fix this? Watching a guy do it and trying to, build it yourself, gone are the days of those. So everything from like your testing, I would say a realistic time frame with someone who's completely new to the e-com and AI space, I would say, 1 to 2 weeks at most.
You know what just came to mind? Using AI as a business analyst is like building Lego or IKEA. It's not, I have a problem, let's go find the solution. It's, hey, do step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah.
And by the way, step 2, you have A, B, and C. And you can find C here and D here. And it's laid out entirely. So it's very easy to follow.
I would say it would be kind of the difference between making a Lego set and maybe making something like a sandcastle or making something out of rocks, right? Because when you're making a sandcastle, you're making something yourself that you imagine in your head, right? You don't have specific instructions, and you make this sandcastle, and after 3 minutes, it just falls apart. So you're making mistakes along the way into learning until it actually works, and it actually stands. Lego, you've got instructions. You just this piece goes here, this piece goes here, this, bam. You've got the thing you're looking for.
Well, that's exactly right. The pieces are already built. You don't have to go through the trial and error to build this piece, and then the trial and error again to work out how to put it together.
And if you didn't have that business analyst, like looking at on the flip side, playing devil's advocate, if you weren't to implement AI to use as your business analyst, it'd be building a Lego set blindfolded, because you're going in there without that feedback. You're going in there of no knowledge. So if you look at like you said, money loves time, money loves speed. How long was that going to take you without it compared to with it?
I would say it's maybe not making a Lego set blindfolded, but without the instructions. So you just have lots of blocks with different sizes, different shapes, and you just don't know how to put anything together.
It's a creative dump. It's not a systemized process to create a shiny object, right?
Yeah. Well, there you go. So I mean, yeah, I suppose to touch on back to the e-com setup, you touched on it before, how you can implement other business models that are performing well to make your e-com store run better. Time-wise, in regards to say, hey, look, you got customers come into your store. Here's what other competitors are using. Here's some recommendations. So talking about that business analyst, right? You can use it to actually further implement more products that you could implement, or different carousels to use. You can use the successful business models that work and implement it within your e-com store. So that's obviously another way you can use your business or your BA, your VA. So next week, I expect all the viewers to have fully operational automated e-com stores with the knowledge.
Yeah. So I guess we covered it all, didn't we? How exactly are you going to create? What exactly you can automate? How exactly you can automate it? How long is it going to take you? So for anybody watching this, now know exactly step by step what you need to do, and you know that it will take you about a week and a half, 2 weeks to do it.
Well, the question is, Krystian, because last step, what's the number? What's the ROI? Because last week it was 400% more sales opportunities, 400% more conversions, 400% time saved. What's the real ROI? And a big thing to add to that is, how much does it cost you to not know how to build a profitable e-com store in 7 days? How much does it actually cost you?
Well, to touch on cart recovery, right? From my knowledge, you can convert, I'd say, anywhere between 15 to 30% into sales, right? From having those automations in there. So that's a huge chunk. I mean, if you're talking 15 to 30% already, most businesses know that that's a huge part of their business already. So, and that's just with obviously empty or the abandoned carts alone. So if you compound that over, say, like a monetary value, that's $10,000 a month, depending on how successful the e-commerce store is. So especially with them, obviously a lot of them are using their return on investment, the ROI, into converting that back into ads. I'm sure you guys are aware, a lot of them they don't make money and then spend the money they earn. They reinvest it straight back into ads, scale with e-com stores, especially because of the fact they're only online based. So that's just that's one area of what they're losing out on.
What I would like to touch on, right, is all of the money we're going to save. Because we covered what? We covered ads, we covered social media, we covered the website, we covered the customer service, we covered emails, we covered retargeting, we covered visit a consultant, we covered abandoned carts recovery. All of those things, right? Let's just make the tally of how much it's going to cost you if you're going to hire out every single person who is not going to do those things. First of all, ads. I would say that's about $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month USA. Then social media. I would say 2,000, 3,000. Then website. 500 to 1,000 for a good one. Then what do we got? Customer service.
I was going to say AI, your AI systems as well. Cost wise, that'll be anywhere between, depending on what their budget is, right? Like 5,000 to 50,000, depending on what systems they're implementing.
Yeah. But right, so we've got up to this point we've got like what? 15,000
plus,
15,000 plus, and all of that you can automate, which is pretty much free.
Plus labor,
Yep.
labor, it could be a VA for $20 an hour answering customer service inquiries, or it could be an AI system that you pay for once, and for every customer service inquiry you get at any volume number for the rest of the store's lifespan is now covered. It's essentially, there's a break-even spot, and then it's an infinite ROI, essentially, as long as you run the store to infinity, right?
Yeah. So comparing the two, right? Like you got to think, I suppose everything from your profit margins too. So for example, if you're trying to optimize your pricing as an e-com store, depending on obviously whether you're pricing your products lower or higher compared to your competitors, that will also play a huge impact, because a lot of those times those profit margins are between, anywhere between 5 to 10% there alone. So depending on how well you've automated it or whether you've chosen not to, depends on your profit margins really. So
Right. So in that way you can get a online store made faster, quicker, less people, so less hassle, and more profit.
You can get to the finish line faster.
So what does it amount to? Makes money, saves time, making money squared.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
We pretty much covered every single process of an e-com store, from creating the store, optimizing, getting better results and getting it done faster and getting it done cheaper. I think that just highlights the opportunity cost of not using AI in your business. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
there's more risk not investing in it, at least, even if it's a simple, I suppose we touched on heavily with the abandoned cart, right? What really is there to lose as that e-com business owner? I'm not having at least one of these solutions that we provided. There's really no risk at all.
Yeah. Plus knowing that everybody, because they are so powerful and they're becoming more powerful by the day, everybody is going to implement them anyway. There's going to be a day in the future, which is probably in 2 or 3 years' time, where every single store will have one of these tools. And not adapting today is missing out on so much opportunity of taking this market share using this new technology, right, to beat our competitors, that you're truly missing out a lot.
It's a complete blue ocean. Would you rather race down a slide shoulder to shoulder with all your competitors and their dogs competing for, the scraps? Or would you rather look at an open field that's green and lush and profitable, because that's the reality. Right now is the opportunity. Now is the time to solve one problem. You don't have to solve everything, pick one, solve it, get your foot in the door, and then keep improving the systems. Because, as Krystian said, in the next 2 to 3 years, once it becomes standard operating procedures to run an e-com store with AI, who's going to be ahead? Who's going to have that 3-year gap, which is exponential to keep competitors?
Exactly.
Prices come more competitive too. If you think they're more normalized, imagine how much these AI systems would be costing an e-commerce store 2 to 3 years from now.
What I also just realized is because a e-commerce store with AI is going to, have better profits, right? That means they can also charge less for the same clothing, for the same product. And they're competing now on price, having the same profit. So they're, let's say, selling something at $30. Their competitors are selling it at $40. And they're both have the exact same profit. Just one is implementing AI, the other isn't.
It's the oldest value proposition in the book. How do you get an edge? You charge a cheaper price. But previously, you wouldn't be able to adjust and save money on the other things, so your margins would be lower, so it'd be a loss. But because you now have AI, which exactly what you said, Krystian, you can sell that product for 25% less and still run the same margins than your competitors. Think about how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's just like you touched on before there, your competitors will be looking to you as, how is this guy turning up the dial while not, getting phased? His profit margins are seeming to get better as the day goes on. And your gap between where your e-com store is compared to everyone else's will be levels. We're talking like they're not even playing the same game as you at this point. So
they're playing a different game. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All right, guys. This seems like the perfect moment to end this episode. Thank you very much for this conversation. We've covered A to Z. How exactly do you automate an online store? Now, for all of you watching, if you've got any questions, if you've got any specific, fields maybe we haven't covered here, please leave them in the comments below. We'll be glad to answer that. Now, to sign off, my name is Krystian Jacko, owner and founder of Cognitech Solutions, where we help our clients convert more leads using AI in various ways. All of my links are in the description. Now to you guys.
Yeah, once again, Jordan here from Seamless AI. Link to the channel will be below, and I'll hand it over to you, Ben, to wrap it up.
What an awesome conversation. What a great, exchange of ideas, really just seeing how much we can automate and how much better we can make a business model. I think that's what's needed right now, especially because what's the main concern we get? I don't know what I don't know. And videos like this get you in the know. So Jordan, Krystian, pleasure as always. My name's Ben Twist from Convert Leads. We generate you more sales opportunities from leads you've already acquired. And you can find all the links, website, channel, LinkedIn's, all down below. We'll see you in the next one, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.